Spoštovane gledalke in spoštovani gledalci, lepo pozdravljeni in dobrodošli v oddaji Teden v EU. Danes bomo govorili o sporazumu o tekstilu, o ključnih točkah iz Štrasbura, o tem, kaj se bo v letu 2017 dogajalo v Evropskem parlamentu, o Oettingerjevem pregledu strani evropskih poslancev, o etičnih vprašanjih glede robotov in o umetni inteligenci ter o pristojnostih urada Evropskega parlamenta. Ostanite z nami. Poslanci Evropskega parlamenta so podprli trgovski sporazum o tekstilu z Uzbekistanom ter s tem zaključili 5-letno prekinitev. Sporazum so zamrznili leta 2011 zaradi suma prisilnega dela otrok in odraslih v srednjeazijski državi.
Child labour is a global problem, from Afghanistan to India to Honduras. In the mid-2000s, reports emerged that Uzbekistan was shuttering schools and forcing kids as young as 11 into the cotton fields. It led the European Parliament in 2011 to freeze a draft textiles deal with the former Soviet state. Since then, more than 250 companies have pledged not to use Uzbek cotton picked by child slaves. But the situation has changed, and Maria Arena, Parliament's lead negotiator on the textiles deal, says the country deserves a chance.
L'Ouzbékistan est encore aujourd'hui un régime qui est une dictature très dure. On pourrait très bien dire on n'est pas d'accord avec ça, c'est vrai, mais en même temps il faut engager le dialogue, il faut soutenir les efforts que l'Ouzbékistan a fait.
The International Labour Organization says child labour has been virtually eradicated, but there are still widespread concerns about the use of forced adult labour.
We have plenty of reports by independent civil society organizations that say that forced labour is still there in an amount which simply does not make the glass really half full.
MEPs have agreed to open EU markets to Uzbek textiles, but they say they will pull the plug if the situation worsens.
Pet ključnih točk decembrskega plenarnega zasedanja v Štrasburu, reforma železniškega sektorja, 6 prioritet za leto 2017, globokomorski ribolov, plamen miru iz Betlehema in nagrada Sakharov.
The number of companies affected by the European rail reform. The new measures will open up national markets. Trains should be cheaper, more regular. For the first time, all 3 EU institutions have agreed on 6 priorities for next year: jobs, youth, security, migration, digital issues and energy. Parliament has banned deep-sea fishing below 800 metres in the northeast Atlantic. The regulation aims to protect the seabed and its most vulnerable fish. The peace flame of Bethlehem has been lit annually for the past 20 years in Strasbourg. A symbol of peace and tolerance, the flame crosses every EU country. 3,500 Yazidi children and women remain enslaved by the Islamic State. In a moving ceremony, former IS sex slaves Nadia Murad and Lamia Aji Bashar received Parliament's Sakharov Prize for freedom of thought.
Naslednje leto v Evropskem parlamentu, azilna reforma, davčni škandali, terorizem, digitalne meje ter energija in podnebje.
Some member states are overwhelmed with migrant arrivals, while others have accommodated disproportionately low numbers. In 2017, Parliament is looking to reform the asylum registration system and relocate refugees fairly around Europe. The Panama Papers showed certain European companies and individuals launder money and evade taxes on a vast scale. In the spring, Parliament will propose how to tackle tax scandals across the Union. In 2015, there was a record number of terrorist attacks in member states, 211. To combat the rising threat, a new law will criminalise how foreign fighters travel, fund and recruit. MEPs want to lift restrictions on cross-border purchases and online subscriptions to music, film, digital books or sports for holidaymakers within Europe. It's all part of a plan to achieve a fully digitised single market in Europe. Renewables accounted for less than 13% of total energy consumption across the Union in 2014. CO2 emissions are also too high. Next year, Parliament will work to reduce them by 40% by 2030 and push industry to use climate-friendlier energy.
V okviru izmenjave stališč so evropski poslanci od 3 parlamentarnih odborov zahtevali, da komisar Oettinger oceni svoje strokovno znanje na področju proračunskih zadev EU in človeških virov.
It was an intense 2.5-hour exchange of views. In the hot seat, Commissioner Günther Oettinger. MEP scrutinized his suitability to lead the budget and human resources portfolios, which include, among others, managing the 2017 budget and Commission staff around the world. Oettinger was formerly in charge of energy and, more recently, the digital economy. He was asked by Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker to take over new responsibilities after former Commissioner Kristalina Georgieva resigned. He faces political controversy over comments he made about the Chinese, women, and gay marriage that some deemed offensive, as well as meeting with way more industry lobbyists than NGOs.
Es war und ist nicht meine Absicht, irgendjemanden mit Bemerkungen zu verletzen. Und ich bedauere diese Ausdrücke von damals ausdrücklich. Ich habe eine völlige Unabhängigkeit meiner Person Lobbygruppen gegenüber.
He reiterated his commitment to fighting for more resources for Europe in a difficult economic environment. MEPs have not always agreed with the Commission's choice and have in the past rejected a candidate or asked portfolios to be modified. In Oettinger's case, there will be no binding vote, but the MEP's evaluation can still put the Commission under pressure.
Ali je lahko robot odgovoren za svoje dejanja? Zaradi tveganj v zvezi z odgovornostjo in vprašanji glede varnosti evropski zakonodajalci menijo, da je čas za natančnejši ogled uporabe robotov v civilne namene.
Whether it's driving cars, feeding and milking cows, or performing surgery, robots are stepping up to the task and cracking into a range of markets. Their ranks have swelled to 1.7 million in the world. But the boom brings some urgent questions. Do robots have rights? If so, what are they? What ethical principles should bind them? Can they be held liable for accidents? For MEPs, it's time to tackle these issues.
The first thing is that you always have to tell people that a robot is not a human, and a robot will never be a human. A robot can show empathy, but he will never feel empathy. You can be dependent physically because you need a robot to do some tasks, but you must never think that a robot is a human and that he loves you.
They may be devoid of emotions, but they are not exempt from rules. If a bot causes harm, the damage should be compensated, not just by the bot's owner, but also its designers, producers, and users. At the center of the debate are self-learning robots designed to make decisions on their own. MEPs have suggested mandatory insurance for these, as they are less predictable than earlier generations. So far, legislation on the civilian use of robots is virtually non-existent in most member states. MEPs hope to bring the European Union up to speed.
Urad Evropskega parlamenta je vključen v finančne, administrativne in organizacijske zadeve Evropskega parlamenta in stavim, da še vedno ne veste dovolj o njem, kdo je del urada in zakaj so pravzaprav odgovorni. Ta animacija odkriva vplivno krilo evropskega projekta.
The Bureau. It sounds like a TV series or a desk. In fact, it's a team of people within the European Parliament. The Bureau is made up of the Parliament's President, his or her 14 Vice Presidents, and Quaestors. The Bureau makes important financial, organisational and administrative decisions on matters concerning MEPs and the Parliament's internal organisation. The President represents the Parliament both within the EU and externally and signs the budget and new EU laws. Vice Presidents lead working groups of MEPs and represent Parliament on key policy issues, and they chair plenary debates when the President is not in the chamber. Quaestor is a Roman word meaning an official in charge of public finances. Today, in the European Parliament, the Quaestors advise and represent MEPs on financial and administrative matters under parliamentary procedures.
Pa smo pri koncu še ene oddaje Teden v EU. Spoštovane in spoštovani, hvala za pozornost in prijeten večer še naprej. Nasvidenje.